Well, I have no camera. Hi, this is Maggie, Piano Tech Maggie. This is my RL Tuning Q&A live stream that I do once a month, typically last Thursday of the month. That will change because of holidays or various reasons. This month is one where it changes. I am the second to last Thursday because of Thanksgiving, and it's either at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. 8 a.m. is on odd numbered months, 8 p.m. is on even numbered months, and I'm frustrated right now because I cannot get my webcam to work, which means I can't even get my microphone to work right. I don't know why they're not working, but I can't show you my keyboard, so I'm really frustrated right now. So what I'm going to do in the future is I'm going to start my live stream. I couldn't do it today because I've been having trouble. I've been trying to fix it. So I'm going to start my live stream about 5 minutes early so I can do this type of announcement that no one really needs to see. It's for the replay later, and someone's texting me. What I'm going to do, hopefully I'll have the camera working next time. So much for plans. I had some things planned. But if I get my camera working, I will do my introduction like I did just now, and then I'll start tuning. I'm just going to tune something, and I may or may not talk about what I'm doing as I do it. So in the future, I start 5 minutes ahead, and I will tune or do something during the 5 minutes till the hour to just allow people to, hey, I got the notification right on time today. Oh, yay! I'm so glad. I'm glad. I'm having technical difficulties. So unless I can angle my computer, which I may try to do, I cannot get my webcam to work. It won't, my computer does not recognize it. I have no webcam. I can't take my camera and go over to my keyboard. And so, me. I was going to try something, and Dolly is probably here, and she was going to help me get started, but I don't know if I can do it. Let's see, this isn't working. I can unplug it. Hi, Dolly. My webcam isn't working. Meh. So let me think. But what I'm going to do, I just said this, but I'm going to say it again while I get a better microphone. I don't know if the microphone's going to work or not, but I'm going to plug it in. Hi, Michael and Dolly and Olubori. I don't know how to say Olubori, but I just attempted it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug my computer and go on battery. This is my microphone. Let me get because dang it, I'm so annoyed. Last month I had trouble with OBS, so I gave up on that, and it's not worth it. But this month I can't get my computer to recognize my web camera. You know? So, what if I get a music stand? Let me move this back. I'll put my computer on my music stand. If no one has any questions, I'll do what I had planned with Dolly, but if people have questions, I'm going to go ahead and get on a detour with that, because this is the time I was going to do that, and obviously I can't because my camera's not working. So everybody gets to wait a moment. Let me get music off of this music stand and bring over a music stand. I'm going to be creative here. And let's see if this is stable enough to not dump my computer. This is ridiculous. I'm going to try it this way. Yeah, I think this will work. This is going to be crazy. If this works, this is going to be awesome. Okay, I got to unplug the computer, so I've got to go on battery now. I'm also not plugged into Wi-Fi anymore either, so let's see how the signal goes. But directly into Wi-Fi. Directly into Wi-Fi. Wait, I don't know. There's something called when you're directly plugged or not directly plugged. But, hey, look at that. So we can see my keyboard. if I put my computer, hey, that's not that bad. You might be able to see my bare feet, and let me move my little thing in the back here to block the sun with all the instruments in the way. Did I block the sun? I have a saxophone in the way. There we go. Okay. So we're going to start over. That works. This is how we're going to roll today. Nothing is working. All right. So what I said, and I apologize for anyone who's watching this later, but I'm going to say it again for the people who are here now, because we have 7 people. From now on, I should just put this in my introduction. From now on, I am going to Dont61. Hi. From now on, I'm going to start the live stream 5 minutes early to help people find it. I'm not going to actually start. C. Walker. Hi, all. Carly. Hi, Carly. I'm not going to start the program until 8. But I'm going to start the live stream 5 minutes early. And during that 5 minutes, I will either start tuning the piano if no one's here, and I'll just start tuning. And then we'll stop whenever. I'll see what I can do in 5 minutes. I'll tune something in 5 to 10 minutes, thereabouts. Or if people find me quickly, and this is what I was going to do with Dolly today because we've already talked. What I'm going to do is have people call out notes. And she was going to help me get started because I knew she was going to be here. People call out notes for me to tune in whatever order they want. And there are no off limits notes. So Dolly said she was going to start out with a tritone. So that's allowed. So we would start. I'm probably going to make one rule. I think for now, because I've never done this before, and the chances of me messing it up are very high. So I think I'm going to stick with an F to F temperament for the moment because I'm most familiar with that. So we can do that if you want and see how it goes, or we can wait till next time because I probably will do this regularly because now it's 8:06, so we're definitely getting started. So I think I've explained my intentions for the future. Does anyone have any questions? We are now on my computer, webcam, and microphone. So I have no idea how it sounds. You can tell me how it sounds. This is an F to A, F3, A3 major third. Michael has one. Has one what? Are the beats audible? If not, oh no, I plugged in my microphone. My microphone might be working. The webcam wasn't working. Question above. Oh, thank you. I didn't see it. Pros and cons between tuning fork or electric source to set A4. Is that what you meant? Pros and cons between tuning fork and electric source to tune A4. Michael, got it. Thank you. I did not see the question right away. Okay, that's a good question. So as long as you have a tuning fork that is ridiculously stable, it's fine. There's the problem is that depending on the temperature of the fork, the pitch can drastically change. So you have to find the temperature where your fork is at, or where you want your fork to be at A440, and then make sure it's at that temperature. I have one friend who holds it against his neck and warms it up, and then it's A440. I have another friend who sets it on the plate, makes sure it's as cold as possible, then it's A440. So it can be wrong. Other than that, you can use it to set A with the standard checks, which I can go over if you want. There's 2 advantages to an electronic fork. So the first advantage is it's consistent. It's always going to be A440. That's a plus. The other advantage is if you can get something that's not a sine wave, preferably a square wave, because that's going to give you the most accurate information for overtones that you're going to be using. If you have an electronic source that's not a square wave, which you kind of need anyway. Well, A4, let me think. Depends on what you're tuning from. Yeah, it better not be a square wave, because then, I mean, a sine wave. A sine wave has no overtones, harmonics. So if you have an electronic source, the electronic source should not have inharmonicity, and the piano does have inharmonicity. In fact, I might have one. I could show this live. Where's my phone? Let me find it. Here's my phone. I show live. Yay. Okay, so let me see. I have something on here that'll give me an A. Let me find an A. Here. This is an app that has an A. There we are. Okay. A. I don't know where the microphone is. Okay. This probably won't come through, but... Let me point it this way. I don't know where's better. Let me turn it down, actually. Whoops. Yeah. You probably can't hear it, but that pitch. Hold on. It's beating. Okay, so I'm guessing my A is a little sharp, so I'm gonna lower it. Whoops, I already did. It slipped. That's better. So what I'm listening to is the third harmonic from A4. The piano has inharmonicity. My electronic tuner does not, and so that partial will beat. And unfortunately, pianos with high inharmonicity, you need to set it to where it beats a little faster, and pianos with low inharmonicity, it needs to beat a little slower. So like if you have a Steinway D, you're going to want it to beat between 2 and 3 beats a second, probably closer to 2. And then the higher the inharmonicity, the faster it will beat. So if I have a Kimball Spinet, and I'm setting A, I'm probably going to want it to beat 4 or 5 beats a second, thereabouts. But my rule of thumb is 3 to 4 will get you really darn close. And we're talking close. We're talking really good. And my thinking is, since the beat rate can change a little depending on inharmonicity, it's not a huge difference between that and a tuning fork, which can change a little bit. So it still is pretty good and it's easy. If I were to do this traditionally with a fork or my app, let me pull up the app. So you tune your A, and then you compare, B, there it is. So my app's running right now, but you pair B1 to the app, which I can barely hear. And then you turn off the app and you compare it to just the A. So I think this is sharp. Let me do the app. Let me do the app again. Yeah. I'm pretty sure my piano is sharp, which I thought it was to begin with, but I lowered it and I thought it was closer. But this says it's still sharp. So this is, I'm going to say more accurate. Well, it's more accurate. The most accurate you can get is the app and the test on the piano. These need to be equal beating. And the reason I'm using B1 is because the first coincident partial literally is that A, and so you're not going to be dealing with accidentally hearing the wrong partial, which can happen if you use a higher note. You can use a higher note, but there's always that chance you'll listen to a higher partial, which is also a coincident partial, and then you have inharmonicity issues, which can cause the note to be off, but we're still talking a very small amount. There was your long answer to a very short question. Did that answer the question? I have a feeling it did, and I have a video on this. So, Michael, thanks. You're welcome. No problem. So, I have a video on this. If you want to know why I use B2, you can search for that video. What is it in? It's either in tuning issues or tips and tricks. I think it's under tuning issues in that playlist. But you should be able to find it. I can't remember the title of the video though. But I do explain why we use B2. Why B2 is definitely a better choice. That's my opinion, but I think it's also a widely held opinion. So, okay. Any other questions that I can answer today? Waiting for a question. How many people are here? 11! 11 people are here. 11. Tuning leg. Oh, this one I can do. Tuning lever recommendation for newbie. I can do this one. If an experienced person asks me what's the best lever, there's no answer for that because everyone's different. Okay. Depending on your money. If you can afford it, once again, tuning levers are expensive. The Dan Levitan Classic, I think, is a fabulous first choice lever. And the tuning, the threads for the tip, the angle is locked. And you can't extend it. You can't change it. So it has limitations. But the tuning tip is kind of standard thread. You can get a Rayburn tip. You can get it comes with a Watanabe tip, which I don't like. So when I first used this, I got a Taffian tip, which I love. I love Taffian tips. It's absolutely my favorite. But there's other tips. And as long as they have that same standard thread as the Watanabe and Taffian, you can use it. This one's a Rayburn. So I recommend that. But I have another recommendation. And if you can't afford that, there is a Levitan, what's he call it? It's a less expensive Levitan. It does not have a tip you can just swap out easily, but it's factory tuning or something. It's a very basic lever, which is nice. Otherwise, I mean, if you're not going to spend as much to get the Levitan Classic Utility, thank you, Keynote Pianotech. Levitan Utility is the smaller, cheaper lever. There's that one. But once you're starting to get into that, just get a cheapie to hold you over. But get a cheapie, hopefully with a head that has standard threads so you can change the tip. In my opinion, the tip is more important than the lever. But what I was going to say is if you're a newbie or even not a newbie, an experienced person, and you want to try out different levers, Pro PTN has a lever loan program. You can rent. You have to pay for it, but you can try out all kinds of different levers that they rent out. And you can try out a Levitan. You can rent it. You can rent a Rayburn. You can rent, whatever lever you want and try them out before you buy, which I think is awesome. I think it's very clever. So that is my recommendation. I hope that was helpful. I know that my computer's a little heavy for this stand. So my stand is, there we go. Okay. But I hope that answers your question. Do we have another question? These are easy questions today. And I brought my coffee with me because it's 8 a.m. During this time of year, I do better getting up early because on the weekends I have to get up at 6 for a Renfest. And we have to get up at 6. So we kind of get used to that. And so during the week it's not so hard. But then once the holidays are over, even during the holidays, with other gigs and things like that, especially after mid-January, because I get up early for college tunings, early January, but our schedule shifts a bit. And so getting up at 8 a.m. in February, March, and April is going to be harder. And I'm going to tune a piano. Are there no more questions? I'll wait 30 seconds or something-ish to see if there's another question. Is tightening the plate screw standard practice for tuning, and what to do with ones behind strings? That's a really good question. Yes. The answer is yes. Do I always do it? No. I've been scolded. I've been scolded by 2 very high-end technicians who are both mentors to me because I don't always tighten the plates. So that should be a good answer to your question. You should always check the screws. Oh, wait a minute. There's a really good point here. I'll get to the rest of that question, but this is important. If you have a Baldwin plate that has the hitch pins, I don't have an example for you, that don't go, that has, so on a lot of pianos, the hitch pin sticks out and the string sticks out and the string loops around the back like that, and it's against the plate. Those are the ones you want to tighten. On a Baldwin that has the straight fatter pins and the string goes around it up higher, that has to do with them being able to adjust down bearing just the way they want it, but the plate is like floating. It's teeter-tottering and it's in just the right place. Don't tighten those screws unless they're obviously, way out of whack. But don't tighten them. If they're down, leave them where they are, because that has to do with how they adjust the plate, and you can crack the plate if you tighten them too hard. So you don't want to go cranking down on screws on those Baldwins. If one is sticking up above the plate, obviously you want to lower it to the plate, but don't tighten it. Just lower it to the plate. That's an important point. I'm glad I actually thought of that. Oh my God. Okay, so if they're behind strings, I'm looking at my piano. I can get to all of mine. Maybe not with a full-size screwdriver, but I can get to them. Just do the best you can. If you can get a skinnier screwdriver and get to part of it, you might not be able to crank it down, but if it's really loose, I've turned them with small screwdrivers, and they were loose enough that I could actually turn them down. I couldn't crank them with the small screwdriver, but I turned them down. I don't have any good advice for that. If someone on here has advice for that, they can, but just get a skinnier screwdriver and do the best you can. I'm not going to loosen strings to tighten the screw. Now, I want to remind everyone, I'm on here doing these live streams because I understand aural tuning in a way that I think makes me a good teacher of it. So if you start asking me questions that are outside of the realm of aural tuning, you must remember, please, I am not an expert, okay? I can give you my experience and my advice, but it is not law, okay? And one of the nice things about having enough people here is sometimes someone comes who's actually more experienced and they just want to hang out, which is, I really appreciate. That happens at my 8 p.m. ones. There's an experienced aural tuner who does not need to be there. And if someone asks a question that I don't know, he can answer. And that's fabulous, because I think that adds to our community. And I think community is important. So, just FYI, I don't mind answering questions, but I'm really not an expert outside the realm of aural tuning. I'm just average. So, take it as you will, caveat, disclaimer, right? So that was that question that I tried to answer and probably was not satisfactory. But if anyone else on here knows, so the question is tightening plate screws standard practice before tuning, and what to do with ones behind strings? That was Philip Capo, and then Don Dant 61. Can you show a good way how to mute? Yes, that last round string, left string. Yes, I can absolutely show you how to mute that. I'm currently using 2 wedge mutes sandwiched together. That's a good way. Keynote Piano Tech, I know there's an argument about it. Yeah, tightening plate screws. My mentors, all my mentors say, unless it's a Baldwin with the funky hitch pins, you should check the plate screws. Now, this doesn't mean you go and, no, just check them, because sometimes they'll turn with almost no effort, and that means they're definitely loose. I mean, little caution is fine. I'll come back to the wound string. Keynote Piano Tech, tightening them too much often can overcompress the wood. There you go. And not allow for, cold movement. I'm trying to find Del Fandrich's article on it right now. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. See how nice this is? There's someone on here who has some knowledge and knows where to find the information, and they're going to go find it for us. This is what, I knew what you meant. Keynote Piano Tech, wood movement, cold movement, hot movement. That's what you meant. So this is really nice, and I feel bad that I'm the only one talking, but at least I can read the comment if he finds the information for everybody. But that makes perfect sense. Don't crank them down because then when the wood expands, you may have a problem. That's really good advice. Thank you so much. Philip Capo, okay, thanks. You may be not an expert on every possible question, but you are most awesome piano technician that I know. Thank you. Do you lubricate terminations before tuning? That's a good question. Philip Capel, thank you. Keynote. Yes, so Keynote's going to get back to us, hopefully, with more information on that topic. I love this. I love this so much. And what did I miss? I was going to come to something. Oh, yeah, the mute. Can you show, let me get to that one first, and then I'll get to the lubricant. Can you show a good way how to mute the last wound string, left string, in the break? Now, are we talking grand piano, I assume? Let me show grand. I did this on a previous video, but it was at an 8 p.m. one. Let me see if I can. And I don't have light. Let me see if I can get a light over here. I'm going to use my... Oh, that's not plugged in. Ah! Frustration. I'll use my phone light if I have to. All right. So I'm going to actually use my phone light because of all my technical difficulties today. Frustration. Does it work? Oh, well, you can kind of see it anyway. Oh, no, it does work. Okay, so here's me. This is on a grand. All right. And right now, this is the last unwound string I'm muting. I'm putting this between two strings that are already muted. It doesn't matter which ones. I can move it down here. And I'm just sliding it until it hits the tenor strings. This one's been there a while, so I can turn it around. Wait, where are two strings that are muted? There we go. And I can whack. There. I like to do it here for whatever reason. I like to do it closer if I can get it. I'm not sure why. The angle should be the same, so I don't know. That's just me. But you want to... this is hilarious that I'm using my phone light right now. So that gets the last string. Now that you do the same thing on the other side, if you have a wound string there, you just stick it in the strings and slide it, or you do it on this side. I can wedge it in there. Now I've muted the last wound string on this side. If you have an odd number of double courses here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have an even number, so my strip mute's fine. But if you have an odd number, you have to strip kind of left to right, really. And then you end up with an open wound string here at the end. Yes, I'm touching my string. I'm being bad. So you stick this in here between two strings that are already muted so you don't hurt it. And then it pushes against that last unwound string. And that's how I mute that, but I don't need to do that on this piano. So I'm going to put this back where it was. And let me check your questions, comments to see if I'm doing the right thing here. You might be talking about a vertical. Philip Capel, thank you, Keenan. Okay, were you talking about a grand or a well, let me just go over to my vertical. Can I get my computer over to my vertical? It's dark in here now. All my lights are somewhere else. Oh my gosh. Fail today. Ah, at least we got it working. Ah, don't knock over the other music stand. Okay, let me come over here. You can see all the other instruments. Let me turn on the light. I actually do have a light here. This is from when I was last online. I haven't even used this since I made this video. Okay, so here I have what looks like a mess. Oh, I see what I did here. This is funny. Okay, so if I'm tuning in the real world, I don't do this. I do this when I'm teaching or when let me get this. There, sort of. Where's my phone? Camera. I mean, flashlight. You get a flashlight. Okay, so if I'm doing this for lessons or teaching or practicing, I will do this. I have this. I'm gonna pull it out. This little end or a piece of felt wedged in between the middle and right string of my last trichord. That allows me to have the left string open without having to go back and forth and work with mutes. And then on this side, what do? I have to think. I think I'm just out of luck. If you have an odd number of double courses, sometimes I will wedge a wedge in here and put the handle to the left of this. I don't have a wedge with a stick right now, but I'll wedge it in here come out and the stick will kind of wedge itself right here. It'll stay for a good while. But I don't have a great solution for that. So that one's is a good. So if you're talking about verticals, I'm probably not going to help. Ugh. Dunt 6. Ugh. Upright. Oh, upright. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so so I showed you what I did here. Now if I have a single double course on the left here, then this works fine. If I don't, if I have two double courses, then I can't put a string in between here. So what I'll do is I'll wedge here. I have a video on this. I'll wedge here and then do this same system where I stick a thread in here, middle right, to expose the left string. No, this one. Yeah, I'll wedge in between here and I'll stick a piece of felt, either center right, center left, whatever I need to do to have one open string. It doesn't have to be the center string. On this side, what do I do? Oh gosh. Sometimes I'll just mute it like this and deal with a wedge mute down low that I can put in and take out. I should come up with a better solution for that. I don't have one. So I can put a wedge here, handle sticking out here sometimes. Otherwise, I'll just mute it this way. And down there, I will treat the last double course as a double string unison. And I'll put a wedge in, tune one of the strings, tune the unison really, really clean, and then just leave it. And if I need to move it, I need to move it. That's all I got. I don't have a better solution for that. I hope that helped a little bit. It might not have at all. But anywho, should I stay at my upright or go back to my grand? Technical difficulties. Upright. Dawn, did that answer your question? Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. I hope it answered your question. And we'll see if Keynote Piano Tech comes up with more about the screws, but I think his point about over-compressing the wood, not allowing for the flexing it does, is really a really good point. You just don't want to over-tighten them. It's good to check them. Now, whoops. I have a customer who, her screws tend to, sorry about that, get loose. And I'll check them and tighten them down. So I'm back at my grand piano. Keynote Piano Tech. It's complicated. Okay, never mind. So between Keynote Piano Tech and me, our final advice is to, yes, check them. Don't over tighten them. Don't crank them down. And if it's a bald one with a straight, Key Piano Tech, do you remember what those are called? The hitch pins, the straight ones that are kind of like a tube with a slot in it. Those are used to help down bearing, and the plate floats a little bit, so you do not AccuJust. Thank you. Here we are again, community. Appreciate you. AccuJust. The AccuJust hitch pins. If it has that, do not tighten the plate screws. If several screws are holding the plate where it needs to be and one is sticking way up, obviously you're going to want to put that down to it's touching. But that's it. That's my advice. Oh, thank you. It's community. I just got a text. There goes. Oh my God. I put my phone on the music stand. That was too much weight for it. It went down. Okay, so back to the next, thank you, Dolly, to the question of lubricating termination points. Let me just back up a little bit and tell you my history with that. Oh gosh. Allergies. So when I first started tuning, I was told never get any lubricants near the strings. So to me, that was Bible for many, many, many years. And if you have really high friction, lube can make a difference. So not always, but so I didn't do that. And even when people told me it was okay, I was too afraid to do it. And then someone finally told me, Maggie, the modern lubricants like ProTech, they will actually lubricate a string when they're putting it on a piano to help it go on more smoothly. I was like, what? And so I finally gave in and tried it, because I had a piano It was a Steinway vertical, but it was the worst one I'd ever encountered. And it took me 3 hours to tune that piano with an ETD because the friction was so bad. It was so bad. Oh my God. And I put John Page's CBL. That's either one. I put one of those on the friction points, and it was a new piano. I could tune it normally. I was just blown away. Now, I did use it on another piano with really high friction. It's a Grand. It's a Young Chang. I remember this. It made no improvement at all. I mean, it really didn't. And like, I came back 6 months later, and maybe it helped a little, but it didn't help a lot. It made no improvement the day of, and it maybe helped a little 6 months later. I tried adding a little more, no difference. And then I'm going to add one more thing about that. Somebody moved here from another state, and I wasn't going to be their regular tuner, but they had a repair issue that their tuner didn't know how to do, and I did. So I went out to help them out, and I was like, I had to ask, who was your tuner before this? And it was a name I didn't know from another state. And I'm like, they use a lot of counterbearing lube on here. Too much. You can use too much. Okay. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, he lubed the bearing points. They're like, he never put lubricant on here. I'm like, well, here it is. And the felt in front of the strings, it went all the way up here. It was a puddle. I mean, you could push on it and the lube would squeeze out. It was gross. It was so much. So what I want to say is, yes, use it, but don't do that. If a little bit doesn't work, a lot isn't going to work. I mean, yes, I've applied it to pianos twice, okay, and it has helped. But I'm talking about a small amount to begin with. I mean, you can't tell I applied it. You can't go through and feel it. Michael Indy, I see a lot of high friction old pianos here in Indiana and use ProTech all the time. There you go. So if it works, it works great. But once it's soaked, don't keep adding it. It's not going to help. It's not going to make a difference. Just stop. All that does is attract dirt and dust, and just don't do it. It's not necessary. I'm sorry. It really irked me. It was a puddle. I couldn't believe the piano actually moved here and held all that liquid that whole time. Or maybe some did drip out. I don't know. But I showed it to them. I'm like, this didn't come from nowhere. And it was greasy. It wasn't water. It was lube. So don't do that. But yeah, I've used it twice on this piano. It's mine, so I figure I can do whatever I want. But this piano has some friction issues, and it didn't fix it, but it did help. It did help. So another long answer to a short question. Keynote Piano Tech, if you find anything else, let me know, but I think we've answered the question pretty satisfactorily. Is that the right word? Any other questions? What time is it? 8:37. We have time. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, I shouldn't sing that. I could get busted for copyright infringement. People do that all the time, though. Philip Capo. Okay, thanks again. Are there any real? Any real benefit to experienced technician to always tune unisons 2-string at a time, and isn't recommended for beginners? Oh, I can address that with my opinions. Keynote Piano Tech, I'm just going to pass along Del Fandrich's recommendation that modern piano plate screws can strip very easily, and it reduces compression in the wood. Oh, he recommends against tightening them. Piano Technician's Journal, March 24th. Thank you, Keynote Piano Tech community. It's the way to go. Really appreciate that. So So the same recommendation is, if one is sticking up and is loose, obviously tighten it down, but don't tighten it. Don't crank it. RL tuning, any topic. So I got to get back to the above question. Could you please differentiate the lubricant to be used, ProTech or ProLube powder? Oh. Let me do that real quick. Yes, we're talking liquid. And what you want to do is you want to put it in the bearing points. So once again, we're out of my realm of expertise. But what I do is I put it on the string. I'm touching them again. That's okay. I put it on the strings anywhere they're pushing down, or where there's pressure against the strings. So above the felt, and then I put a little bit right at the A graph, on this side of the A graph, and it kind of works its way in. Up here, I put a little bit next to the cable bar and along here. And if there's felt, if the strings aren't pushing in the felt, you don't need to do that. But if they are, you might want to add a little. And how you're supposed to do that is with a rag. So you just put a little bit on, or you don't soak it. Don't soak it. I have soaked it a little more, but just once, on pianos that were horrendous, like that Steinway. I literally used, now this is going to be on video. Oh my God, I'm going to get so much poop for this. But it was so bad, I used a paintbrush. Now, I didn't soak it in there, but I did use a paintbrush. I wiped the paintbrush out really well, and I put it on to where I could definitely see the change in color, where there's something wet on there. So this is a wet lubricant. Do not use regular lubricant. WD-40 can kill your strings. It can deaden them, and they're ruined. It's impossible to get off. Do not use any lubricant you buy. You must use ProTech or another lubricant that is for counterbearing, a counterbearing lube. John Page used to make it. I don't know if he still does, but it must be a counterbearing lube for that purpose. Okay, so liquid, and then the other question, always tune 2 unisons at a time. Is it recommended for beginners? It just depends on how you teach it. I don't teach beginners with, Keynote Piano Tech, no silicone. Thank you. Appreciate that. No silicone. Okay, very good. Silicone is for piano benches. Yay. I really appreciate the help in this area because we're outside of my area of expertise. Okay, 2 unisons. Now we're back into my area of expertise. I'm just talking. I'm not showing anything. Okay, so I don't use double string unisons when I start teaching, partly just because that's the way I learned, but also because when I start teaching a beginner, I teach concepts. I don't teach right away setting a temperament. No. That is not how I work. I teach concepts of how intervals relate to each other and how they interact and how to manipulate them. Doing that with double string unisons is not only not necessary, it adds yet one more thing to an already complex issue, and I don't want to do that. That's my personal choice, my personal method. So when I teach, we are listening to intervals and how they interact with each other. We are not listening to, oh God, I'll read that comment in a minute. We are not adjusting double string unisons, especially when people have pianos where there's false beats. I don't want to deal with that. I want to get the concepts across. We'll deal with double string unisons later. But that's my method. This is my choice. That's how I teach. That's how I work. Mark Sarasano uses double string unisons to teach. So he teaches differently than I do. He teaches how to use double string unisons to gauge how far you're moving a string and how far you want to move it. That decision is made based on the other intervals around it. That's in a nutshell. I might not be getting that exactly right, but that's basically it. So that's how he teaches. And I know at least, I think Sally Phillips taught that way, where you use one mute to tune a piano. That's fine. That is fine. That's not how I personally start people out, because I want to teach the concepts first. I want those down. Now, for me, once that's down, I think double string unisons are great, especially with fine tuning. So what Rick Butler does, and this is fine, these are just different methods. You use what works best for you in the long run. But what Rick Butler does is he will tune with the temperament strip in if it's really out of tune. Otherwise he won't. He'll just use a single mute like Sally Phillips does. I think it's Sally Phillips. Anyway, so if the piano's, he gets the piano close to in tune, either with a temperament strip and tuning it, and he does all this orally, or it's already in tune. He will use a single mute, and he will, 2 mutes max, and he will go around tuning it with double string unisons, because once you have 2 strings interacting, there's at least a 50% chance that they will put out a separate pitch once they're together. Okay, so like if I use a temperament strip and I fine tune this piano and it's awesome, and then I go in and tune all my unisons, guess what? It's changed. So now for a home tuning, do I care? Heck no. Do you know how much that's changed? It's a tiny, tiny amount. Tiny. Okay? No, it's going to change more than that in a week. I don't care. We're talking about concert tunings here that are going to be played within several hours. Okay? But it's great for that. So Rick will never consider a piano to be finely tuned without using double string unisons. Now let me explain why that is. But I'm going to read a comment. Someone put, novice trader, there is an online tuning school that recommends, he means WD-40. I know. No comment. Okay, back to the topic. All right, so here's what happens with there's issues with double string unisons that I don't want to deal with. Oh dear, yeah, I know. So don't use WD-40, please, near a piano. If you're working on the bench, fine. If you're working on a pedal box that's been rusted in a flood, which I have done, I still didn't use WD-40. But if you want to, it's a solvent. It sometimes is really great for dealing with something that's really rusty with pedal box or a bench. How about 3-in-1 oil? Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not. No. So I'm off topic. I'll get back to my topic. 3-in-1 oil is an oil. WD-40 is a lubricant that is a solvent with a lubricant. So WD-40 is more for like rust and things that are stuck. 3-in-1 oil is more of a protectant, but it's also things that are stuck. You don't want either of those near piano strings at all. You don't want it near the strings. You just don't use it in the action. Don't use it in the strings. Nothing. 3-in-1 oil isn't, a bench at best. No. Okay, I'll stop now. 0.0. Yes, Keynote Piano Tech 0.0. Thank you for the backing up. All right, where was I? Oh yes, double string unisons. I find this important. So here's the issues with a double string unison. The reason the pitch can change, there are 2 reasons the pitch can change. One is the Weinrich effect. Okay. If you don't know what that is, look it up. I don't want to go into all the details now. And I don't fully understand it. I just know that when 2 strings come together, like I can tune one string with an ETD and get it exactly on pitch. I can tune another string with an ETD and get it exactly on pitch. Check the unison. Fine tune the unison to where the unison's perfect. Check it with the ETD. Make sure each string is exactly the same. It's in tune. Play the strings together. There's a 50% chance. I'm making that up. I don't know that. There's a chance that when those 2 strings sound together, the pitch will be different on that ETD. Okay. Now, one of the theories, the most common theory about the Weinrich effect, and I'm saying the common theory because I think very few people fully understand it. I definitely don't. Is that the nodes of the string are in different places. So by the time it gets to the bridge, one node might be at the hitch pin and the other one might be crossing the bridge, even though it can't. So the nodes aren't lining up. And when the nodes don't line up, it can cause a shift in pitch. Usually on a piano, I don't know why, this shift is down, but it can be up. And that's my personal experience. I don't know that it's that way across the board, but my experience is they tend to go down. The other thing that can affect a double unison is coupling. And I'll explain why I think this is important. Backing up. Oh, WD means water displacer. And as such is only good for rust or corrosion removing. Thank you. Olubori, thank you very much. I did not know that. That's awesome. See, I love this. We all learn things. Keynote Pianotech, I think the guide to field repair has a big chart of lubricants and where to use them. Very, very useful. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, back to double strings. So with a double string, it can couple. In other words, I have one string where I want it. I bring the other string, let's say I'm bringing it down to pitch. These strings, as they get closer, are going to gravitate toward each other. So the string I'm lowering is going to pull down toward the other string, but it's going to be pulling up the other string. Therefore, once they meet, couple, and sound perfectly in unison, the pitch, the final resultant pitch, because they're not actually the same pitch individually, the resultant pitch is going to be sharp. Okay? And it's the same thing if I were coming from the bottom and I'm coming up, it'll pull the top string down, the bottom string up pitch-wise. I don't mean physically. I mean pitch-wise. This is just a visual that's not real. The resultant pitch will be flat. So the problem then with using double string unisons is you're not actually sure that the end pitch is where you set the first string. So that's not Weinrich effect. That's coupling. It's a different issue. This is one of the reasons I don't want to tune personally with double string unisons when I'm setting a temperament. I'll come back to that. There could be an exception. But for the moment, I do not want to tune with double string unisons because I just don't want to deal with that. And most of the pianos I tune have false beats. I don't want to deal with that. I'm not that good, frankly. Rick Butler's that good. Sally Phillips is that good. All right. So they tune with double string unisons, and that's fine. And as long as that unison holds for whatever they're doing, that's fine. My thinking is, and all this is fine. I'm not saying any of us are right or wrong. It's just how we approach it, and it's all fine. Okay. But my thinking, my feeling is that if I am using a double string unison and one is pulled down and one is pulled up, then there's that greater chance of that unison coming out of tune. And I don't like that. That makes me uncomfortable. And I don't know how much that is. I might be totally overreacting with it. But Rick is definitely trying to get me to be better at double string unison tuning with a mute for like high level concert tuning. He's working with me on that. Well, he's trying to work with me on that. I'm being resistant. But I will eventually work on that and get better at that. Right now I'm not that good at it. But anyway, I hope that answered the question about double string unisons. Let's see. Michael, is the coupling the reason I've heard to keep a string slightly sharp in a unison? No, that's different. Okay. So if you're tuning a unison, there is the coupling. Okay, but coupling is when they fully meet each other. One pulling just ever so, and I'm talking a tiny amount. So what I'm saying probably doesn't even matter. It's such a tiny amount. So one is pulling down, one is pulling up. They couple, pure unison, no beats, no wah, no nothing. That is a clean unison. Even if it's coupling, it's still sounding clean. Okay. Some people will take a unison and not quite let them couple. They'll pull it out just a little. They won't quite couple, and there'll be a wah, just one, over a long period of time. So we're talking a beat over 5 to 10 seconds, just barely a beat. So these strings are trying to couple, and they're just far enough apart to where they can't. And what this does is it enhances sustain. I don't fully understand why, but I know it does. So if you, here's my theory. And I don't know that I'm right. So somebody can say, Maggie, you were so wrong about that. But this is how I think about it. All right. this is how my concept, real or not. If you have two strings that are perfectly in unison, the chances of there being a cancellation is much higher. Okay, so if you have, and this is, sound waves are compression waves, but we often represent them with a graph. So if I have one where this is like a peak and a trough, I always say it's trough, and the other string is the exact same pitch, okay, but it crosses over to where the trough is the exact same point as the peak, you will get no sound. You will get barely any sound, if any, and they will die out really fast. So you'll hit the note and it'll sound and gone. They've canceled each other out. Okay, so if you couple them and you have them just almost the unison, you are getting the opposite effect. There's no chance of them canceling each other out, and so they will ring longer. And there are theories about it, I think, that have something to do with them keeping each other active somehow. I don't know. We're outside of my world now. But you can increase sustain by doing that. So detuning, decoupling a unison. Detuning a unison has to do with sustain. They're not coupling. Michael, great explanation. I am so glad. Because I understand cancellation really well. And I understand coupling good enough, but I don't fully understand how it works when you make one string out of tune and the sustain last. That's my thinking about it. You know, I don't know if it's right or not, but that's how that's my concept. Okay. So, do we have another question? Did I skip a question? Did I miss something? Water displacer. I never knew that. My music stand is still... I kind of like this music stand. I'll work on it. I don't know why my camera's not working. I have no webcam. But I haven't needed it today, thank goodness, hardly at all. I just needed it a couple times. I haven't tuned. Next time I'm going to tune. Unless I have more technical difficulties, in which case I will not tune. So frustrating. So, we have 3 minutes. Do we have a question that I can answer in 3 minutes? Or that will make me go over, because I always go over a little bit. How do you get your green action felt not to shed all over the piano? Like this. Like this. It sheds. I don't know why mine doesn't shed as much as other people's, though. I hardly get any. I really do. I think it's just because it's used. I think a new strip sheds more than an old one, or vice versa. I don't know. I don't know. But I like the thickness of these green ones. I have 2 different green ones. Michael, LOL. So there's 2 different green ones. There's one that's the actual green temperament strip sold by now Schaff. It used to be sold at Piano Tech. That's, to me, the perfect thickness. And there's another one that's... I don't have it with me. Let me see if I have one, because I can give you an item number. Wait, where's the bench? Where's the bench? It's in a piano bench that has disappeared. Well, anyway, there's another strip that's not a temperament strip, and it sheds way more. It's felt for something else. I forgot what it's for. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to make a video of it now. If I find what it is, I'll put it in the description later. But it's a strip, a felt, like this. Like this. But it's not temperament strip, and it's thinner. But it's not as thin as the extra thin red strip, which is too thin. And for pianos where it's really tight, I love having that handy, because it's perfect for those. I don't use it normally. It's a little too thin. This is perfect for me. The red thick ones are just too thick. I like almost never use them. I have one or a piece of one I keep handy, because every now and then, like at most once a year, I'll want it, and that's it. What about the concept... Olubori, what about the concept of mistuning as was in use, still being used by some old tuners, most of whom agree that too much clean unisons does not allow great sustain? That's what I just said. Yep. That's what I just explained. So it's the same concept that someone else asked me about with coupling having to do with detuning. So it's They're not coupling, they're literally detuning, and it can add to sustain. Having said that, while I think of it, I'm glad you asked that again, because there's other things that contribute to sustain. So if you have a dead soundboard, if you have a loose bridge pin, if you have a cracked bridge, if you have not enough counterbearing, too much counterbearing, no. Oh my God, what's the word? Downbearing. If you have the wrong amount of downbearing, or negative downbearing, or things like that, or the hammer isn't aligned properly, or there are so many things that affect sustain. So when we're detuning a unison to get sustain, we're doing it on a very healthy, taken care of piano that doesn't have other issues. Okay, so if you're tuning in someone's home and they have bridge cracks and they have a soundboard crack and they have hammers that have been eaten by mice, or I don't know. if you're in someone's home and the piano has issues or a lot of false beats, just get the cleanest unison you can get. And there's two reasons for that. Number one, if they have false beats, you want as clean a unison as you can get. And sometimes that means detuning them to be two different pitches to cancel out the false beat. But whatever you do, you get the cleanest sound you can get. That's number one. Number two, on a home tuning that has to last, say, a year, those unisons are going to go out all by themselves. So you want the cleanest unison you can get on a home tuning where they're not going to tune that piano again in at least 6 months, if not a year, or 2 years, or 5 years. You want a clean unison that's going to stay the longest possible amount of time. That's a home tuning. They're going to go out. That unison is going to detune itself eventually. All right. So it might take 6 months. It might take 5 years, but you want it clean because it's going to wah eventually. You know, maybe not all of them, but some of them will. So my goal is to get the cleanest unison possible, unless that piano is tuned at least every 6 months. So there's that. So on a home tuning, this is concert tuning stuff we're talking about here. We're not talking about home tunings. Different world. Home tuning has to last 6 to 12 months. Concert tuning just has to last a day or two, because it's going to be retuned for the next concert. And you can do different things in those two contexts. All right. So creating strong stability is key to make it yes, Michael, you want a good, solid, stable unison as much as you can possibly get in that home tuning. That is my opinion. People can disagree with me and do whatever they want. It's fine. That's just me. That's how I think about it. That's my reasoning for it. I have my reasons. Other people have reasons for the things they do. We're all different. We all tune differently. It's fine. We are over an hour now. So I am just going to reiterate what I said in the beginning, that pending my stuff working like it did not today. I can't believe it didn't work. I still don't know what's wrong with my webcam. I hope it works later today because I have to meet with people. Oh, shoot. I think I have a lesson right now. Do I? Oopsies. They're going to have to wait just a minute. No, I don't. Oh, thank God. Not till 10. I have 1 more hour. Okay, so I have an hour to get all this. Thank you so much, Maggie. This was phenomenal. Thank you, Dolly. I'm going to reiterate one more time. So my plan, pending technical difficulties, Michael, thank you. You're welcome. My plan, pending technical difficulties, is to start my live stream 5 minutes ahead. And if no one's here, I'm just going to start tuning until people arrive. And if someone shows up right away, I'm going to play the game where they call out the next note I tune. And I'm going to tune in whatever order they give me. And that includes any interval. So the goal is to give me something hard. Don't make it easy on me. You know, don't just give me fifths and fourths. I'm like, yeah, make it hard. And I'm going to tune in whatever order someone gives me. And we'll see how it comes out. David Bender, when tuning for recorded in unison. Oh, okay. Okay. I did not know this. I don't know anything about recording pianos. He says when tuning for recordings, unisons need to be clean. I would think so. C. Walker, are you alternating 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. live streams? Yes. Every Odd month like this, 11, is 8 a.m. Every even month is 8 p.m. Mics will amplify beats. Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to talk about this. I don't care that we're over. David, thank you for saying that. Okay, so when I work with students and they make a video, we can, all of us, the student, me, everybody, can hear the beats louder in the video than live. Okay? And when we're on Zoom, I can sometimes hear beats they can't hear, and they can hear beats on my piano that I can't hear. So I'll even ask a student, is this what you hear? Wah, wah, wah. Yes, that's what I hear. Okay, good. We're on the same page. But I'll tell people, if you can't hear a beat, video yourself on your phone. I swear the phone mics are amazing. Video what you can't hear on your phone and go back and play your phone and you'll hear it. It's so cool. So thank you, David, for pointing that out, because I don't think I've ever mentioned that in a video. Mics will amplify beats. They do. I know that's a fact because I experience it. Okay, cool. All right, so alternating months, 8 a.m., 8 p.m., odd, even. And then this month I did a week early because of Thanksgiving. Next month I'm doing a week early because of Christmas. And then after that, let me check my calendar. I think we should be back on track for the last Thursday of the month. Yeah. Yeah. That should be, and then we're back to normal, at least for a little while. We'll see what happens. Keynote Piano Tech. I love walking around the room while a student tuner is tuning. I can hear the beats disappear depending where I am. Yeah. Yeah. The best place to hear beats is further away from the piano. And where you are in relation to the piano will change what you hear. So us being tuners right at the piano with limited movement, worst place, worst scenario. Yeah. All right. Thank you all very much. Thank you for your patience with my technical difficulties yet again. I will try to figure it out by next month. Dawn, thanks, Maggie. You're welcome. All right. Happy tuning, everybody. And see, there goes my music stand. David and T. Walker, thank you. You're welcome. Thank you for coming. And we'll see you in a month or two, I hope. Happy tuning. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.